Hello friends, my name is Theo, and today in this exciting Mason Media tutorial, we're going to be taking a look at doing some simple procedural destruction inside of Houdini. This will be a nice introduction for people who don't have a whole lot of experience with Houdini, a nice simple little setup that'll get you rocking and rolling on stuff. So here we have a brand new empty scene, and the first thing we'll do is lay it on a geometry node. So I'll hit tab, type in geo, and we'll just lay that down. Then we'll dive in, and this is where we're going to be doing most of our stuff. So we can delete this default file input, and we'll drop down something cool like a font sop. So there's font, and we'll just type something in there like T for Theo. And now we've got what we're going to destroy. We can move this up if we want to, but just leaving it there is totally fine for now. So the next thing that we want to do is extrude this out so we get some 3D geometry here. It's not just this lovely 2DT, and we're going to do that by adding in a poly extrude. So hit tab and then type in XTRUDE. We'll do poly extrude, and if you hit shift enter, it'll automatically wire it in for you, which is pretty nice. And you see we are already viewing this with the little blue flag here. So now we will bring this distance up to some arbitrary value, like that looks good. And now we've got the geometry that we're going to disintegrate. So now I'll put in the object that we're going to use to tell us which part of the text is disintegrated and which part is not. And of course, you don't have to use text for this. You can use whatever you want. A logo would be cool too. So we're going to use just a sphere with some noise for this. So we'll tap tab and then type in sphere. And we will make this a polygon. And we'll view this just so we know what's going on. And we'll increase the frequency to something like 7. And these are pretty arbitrary values, so you can play around with stuff and get whatever you want. You can use whatever geometry you want. The next thing we'll do to make this a little more interesting is distort this. So we'll add in a mountain. And if you hit shift enter again, remember that automatically wires it in. Now you see we get some noise in here. Maybe we'll increase the height a little bit and decrease the element size. And there we go. That's looking pretty cool. And now we will want to be able to move this. So we will just wire in a transform. Shift enter, and we can move this up and to the side, and we'll template this guy so we can see where our T is, and move this in a little bit closer. I'm holding down middle, clicking and dragging in order to get these sort of values, and I will alt click on these values to set a keyframe, and I will animate this through. We'll go to about a second, so 24 frames, and we'll move this over and down until it's all the way encompassing our object there. And we'll just go ahead and add some keyframes, and I'll drop that in, and now you can see our rock thing moves into our text. And we'll go ahead and shorten our whole timeline just so we aren't dealing with too much stuff. So we'll make this 48 frames. You see if we play, and we'll turn on real time so that we get an accurate representation of what's going on. And that's looking pretty excellent. I mean, right there, that is some good animation. So now we'll make this actually interesting, and we'll do that by popping down a bool node. And the boolean node is fantastic. Houdini has a great bool tool. So what we're going to do is we're going to take geometry A, which is our text, and we're going to subtract geometry B from it. So any point from geometry A that is covered by geometry B will be removed. So if we change this to from intersect to subtract, then you can see as our thing moves over, our text gets dissolved. Nice. And maybe we will reduce the size of this noise a little bit. Bring it down some. And if we template this guy, you can see just where our little Guga is being put over. That is disintegrating our good geometry. So nice. Now we've got part of it, but we want to make this a little more interesting. Since we're in Houdini, we can make stuff a little more interesting. So what we're going to do is actually add down another Boolean node. So we'll name this node bool geo, and then we will duplicate this, and so Control C and Control V, and I'll name this bool seam. And we look at our operations, we can see we don't just have these normal union, intersect, subtract, shatter, etc. We have this seam one. And what this will do is just output, if we turn this off, right where our intersection is happening. So that is a very useful thing. So now we have both of these guys. We have our resulting geometry, we have where the decimation is taking place. So what we can do is have stuff happen on this line. So we can pop down something like a pop net, and we'll be able to emit particles just from this line. So wire this in. You can see already, just without doing anything, we get this kind of cool thing going on. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's not terrible, I guess. And if we merge these together, then, you know, that on its own, you know, could be something. But we'll go into our pop net and make it a little more interesting. So drop in here and we'll add something like a wind force. And we'll just drag this in here, right below our solver. And now you can see there's even more stuff going on. So that's too much going on now. So we'll change the scale force to something like 5. Now, look at that. That's pretty neat. We'll go over to our noise tab and we'll turn this, we'll turn the turbulence maybe up a little bit. There we go. And let's see what else. And we'll maybe bring the amplitude down, so like 0.5. And yeah, that's kind of cool. So now that's looking neat, but let's have some more particles in it because that's a little sparse right now. So go into our pop source and we can go to our birth tab and we can up our birth rate. So something like 10,000 so we emit more particles. But if we look at this, you see though these lines are denser because there are more particles. There's really, they're still being emitted sort of in a stepped fashion. So we go over to our pop solver and we can increase our maximum and minimum substeps. And this will basically say for each frame, it'll process 3 frames in between there. So whenever we go back and view this again, it'll take longer, but you see we get a much more finer resolution. So since our particle count is still pretty low, we can really amp this up and get some much denser particles going. There we go. And that's pretty nice. And we'll go back, make this something like maybe 30,000. You know, maybe we'll also go back because that's looking pretty good. So we'll just refine our animation some and we'll go back to our transform. So we'll go into our animation editor and select these keyframes and move them from frame 24 to maybe like frame 45. And now we'll go back and view this again. And there we go. Now it's a little slower and nicer. And that's looking pretty cool. So you can see it just dissolves our text right like that. So this is obviously a pretty simple setup that, you know, you can do a lot to make it cooler. But just for getting started off, you know, this is a nice little foundational thing. But you see right now we're only, you know, emitting points from the surface. So if you want a little bit of a challenge, you know, try and figure out how to get the points to be emitted from a volume instead of just the surface. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little introduction tutorial. If you're just getting started with Houdini, hopefully this wasn't too fast or complicated. It's a nice little easy setup to get you started. And of course, since this is Houdini, everything is procedural. So if you want to, you know, put in your logo or your mom's name or whatever you want, just do that and make sure that in this case your bool object has to, you know, cover everything. So we need to change our animation around a little bit. But you don't have to redo any like crazy stuff, which is pretty nice. So like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you dislike it, leave your feelings down in the comments below. Let me know what other sort of stuff you want to see. If you want to see a part 2 where we go and make this emit from a volume, maybe make it a little fancier, add some more cool stuff in there, let me know. I like Houdini a lot, so it'll be a fun little tutorial to make. But I think that's all I have for you today. So once again, I've been Theo with Misner Media. Have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye. All right, so by now we know that that video that I showed you in the beginning was sort of a lie. So we'll go through what I did to make it look the way it did. The first thing, the most important thing, is that in our setup here, I've changed around some stuff just while I was playing around, so just ignore some of that. in our original thing, I forgot to close off the back on our poly extrude. So made sure that the output back is on there now. So if we hop out of the camera and into our perspective view and go around, a little bit laggy on the viewport. Oh well. Oh, I guess it's probably OBS's fault. So before we had it like this, output the back, and then that lets us have, you know, particles a little bit better. So that's that. And then the other little thing I had to do was add a point wrangle. Oop, ba-doop, boop. Set a point wrangle. Set a point wrangle and just set the P scale to a really small value so that the particles rendered out at a decent size. And then this UV stuff I ended up not using. And then I added this box just to put the thing in a room. And I added a little area light above it. Just because that's cheap, easy lighting. And of course the camera, I just did a little bit of animation on there. So you can see just animates through just a little bit. You know, always even when you're just playing around, I'd always recommend animating your camera at least some, because that'll make it feel a little more finished. It's a pretty easy thing to do if you're going to spend the time rendering anyway. Just animate the camera a little bit, and then if it turns out good, you can slap it in a reel or something when you're just playing around. And that's most of what's going on there. Then I just added a little principled shader to stuff so it looked a little bit less terrible. And then I rendered it out with some motion blur and some depth of field, some other stuff. So nothing particularly interesting. I left it a little bit noisier than I normally do, just because it's taking a while. So yeah, at 0.01, I normally bump that down, but you'll see when we go into After Effects to composite this things, we just use a little denoiser in there. Also, I upped the diffuse limit here so we can get a little bit of global illumination going on, and subsurface limit because I like subsurf, because in our principled shader, go back to our materials, you can see we have a little bit of subsurface going on here. So we've got that. That's what came out of Houdini. Rendered that out as an EXR sequence and then brought it into After Effects. And let's just go ahead and Control A, U. And I'll just delete the stuff that we ended up not using so I don't have to look at it. And so we also don't need this. That was my first render of it. Like I named it, but I think that's pretty funny. So in this first layer, this is our render. You see we have this remove grain node. So before it looked like that, and then after cleans it up pretty nice just to save us a little bit of render time. And then we threw what's probably some curves on top of it. This is one of the great things about working with EXR is that you can really just like go crazy with the curves. Like, see there's noise from our render, but there's no like actual banding from this really intense contrast that we added. Then I added something from the Meester Media Atmospheres pack, which you can find at meestermedia.com/products. There's a free version, and there's a 1080 version, and there's a 4.6K version. And of course I use the 4.6K version because it's my thing and I can do whatever I want. And here I just animated a little bit so it's sort of kind of tracked with the camera, just to make it look a little bit less like I just overlaid some smoke on it. But it still kind of looks like that, but that's fine. And then I had this little light above. I would normally use shine, but I don't know where my license for shine is, so I have to find that or rebuy it or something. But you know, I can do that some other time. And then dropped on a vignette because After Effects, and I also added some camera blur to the end just to reduce noise even more. And then just one more big old contrast, and still there's a little bit of banding happening there. But, you know, after that, pretty simple compositing. You know, that just makes it look a little bit less boring. So that's without After Effects, which is, you know, fine on its own. But then with it, a little more dramatic, a little sexier. And I rendered this out at 1920 by 816 because it's good to render stuff out because it's nice to be able to render stuff out anamorphic so you don't have to render out, you know, some of that top or bottom pixels. Make it go a little faster. And for all the people on my channel who hate rendering stuff with black bars, this is not rendered with black bars. So that's good. So that's just, you know, our little addendum after the fact for the tutorial for those few that stayed around and wanted to see it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial once again, but I won't give you the whole spiel because we already gave you the whole spiel, and this is the after the fact. But if you hide the code word banana in your comments, then I'll be more likely to listen to it. Especially if you have suggestions or anything, because I'm having a lot of fun with Houdini and stuff. So let me know. Or better yet, just have a bunch of people tell me they want Redshift tutorials so I can justify buying Redshift, so I don't have to wait for an hour and a half for this thing to render out. Which, I mean, isn't that bad for animation, but it's still longer than I wanted to render. But I watched Ex Machina in the meantime. Anyway, once again, I've been Theo with Mr. Media. Have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.